From Craig Rolson in Europe, David Gerber in Brazil, and our editor-in-chief and publisher, Don Oshman, it's time for this week's Sunday Night Week in Review.
Hello again. It's time for another edition of this week's HydeNet Week in Review. I'm Don Oshman, editor-in-chief and publisher of HydeNet Market Reports, which cover a plethora of subjects in our industry. Today is Sunday, November 30th, the last day of November, and we just finished in the United States a wonderful long Thanksgiving weekend where everybody eats too much and sees all their friends and families and then can wait to see them again another year. Before we could begin tonight, I just want to say that on December 4th, Thursday, United States time, we are going to have the first ever groundbreaking HydeNet International and Interactive Leather Forum. This means that anybody, any place in the world with a computer can watch some of the luminaries we have on our panels, such as Mike Larson from Tyson Foods in the United States, Andy Seward, who is now a consultant, but is just a consultant to Clark's, but now has his own consulting firm, and people like Su Cho Young, the president of the Chinese Tanners Association. People like that are on our panels, and you can interact with them during our seminar by sending in messages, typing in questions you might have, and so on and so forth. They discuss many timely and interesting topics affecting us all. So I urge you again to go to HydeNet.com. You'll see a picture of me with tonight's video and a previous week's video, and underneath that's a big blue button that says register here, no charge. And I think you'll be very glad you had a chance to experience this and watch this in your time zone, wherever it may be. And if it's still impossible for you to watch, we will have a video of the forum in a couple of weeks, but you won't be able to write in questions and hear what other people ask. Also, a week later on December 11th, we have the Chinese rendition with the Chinese panelists. More on that next week. Back to the current situation in Europe this week, our Craig Rolson talks about more downward pressure on prices. Not dramatic drops, and overall not severe, but still a lower ambiance, if you will. There's volume has been shrinking for many reasons, but one of them is the Chinese New Year, which is coming up in February, but already Chinese buyers and Asian buyers are saying, hey, we don't want shipments to arrive after such and such, and that's coming up in a week or two when you can make those shipments, so that's slowed that down. Holidays in Italy shut down forever. Everything is just starting to slow down, and it's the first week of December, just about starting. Also, complaints of letter of credit openings, claims, we're hearing that from all over the world from buyers. Veilskin prices, which were on fire all year, are tenuous at best depending on what particular selection, but the fervor of the fashion houses to get whatever they had to get, whatever cost, has dissipated. The bull market for automotive use is basically steady or flat, not going up, not going down, and pretty consistent. And also Craig has a nice report on the Istanbul Leather Fair, which finished last week, and how it's affected the sheep and lambskin markets. In North America this week, it was a very short few days because by Wednesday afternoon everybody had gone home for the holidays, and there's always some business going on over the holidays because everybody has a mobile phone or an iPad or some kind of pad. But volume was restricted, business was restricted, and before everybody left on vacation, steer prices fell about $1, in some cases more. The cow market also eased, but not quite as bad. Maybe we're getting to a bottom there, I don't know, but it's still coming down. Dairy cows are coming down. Wet blue producers do not seem to have the forward position they would like, which is putting pressure on those markets. We've heard even below $126 CNF for a heavy Texas wet blue now. We reported about sources saying the kill of at least the first quarter of 2015 is going to be low and maybe lower than what it is this year so far, or this last quarter, the current quarter so far. Also, year-to-date slaughter is down 7.3%, or somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.2 million head. That's how many less hides are available. As I mentioned in Europe, it's affecting America too. One big packer told us this week that if he doesn't ship hides by next week, he can't ship anymore to China. They say no more because it'll come, whatever it is, January and so on and so forth, and they can't take it in if their Chinese New Year shutdowns, which could be longer than previous years because of a lack of business. It's not exactly, they're not out of business, but it's not booming for most tanners. Also, the port slowdown in the United States, negotiations took a break for about 2 weeks during the Thanksgiving holiday. They're going to start up again, I think, in about 2 weeks from now, about December 5th or 6th or 8th. So the slowdown continues, the port jam congestion continues, and shipments outbound in our trade and for other trades coming in is also retarded. And the shipments can't unload, so the ships are tied up. Not a good situation. Our This Week in Leather, we talk about the World Footwear Congress, which ended last week in Mexico and León. Very successful, very big crowd, much bigger and better than Sao Paulo had in about a couple of years ago. So there's a growing interest, and of course, I forget, 20 or 30 countries were represented in this World Footwear Congress. Also, we have an article about China's October leather production being down, and I almost forgot, David Holes reports from Latin America that the Brazilian prices have dropped down to 5 cents. $1.90 a square foot CFR now for a good TR number 1 wet blue is a good price. It just seems like yesterday when it was $2 and $205, in fact, $2.05, $2.05 at the time of the Shanghai Leather Fair. And now we're down to $1.90, $1.95 would be a phenomenal sale. Fresh hide market is lower in Brazil, or about to come lower in this next week, because the tanners don't need to buy fresh hides as bad because their sales are down vis-a-vis the lower prices. Mato Grosso, which is one of the best premier hide producing areas in Brazil, the production is up this year. And in Argentina, the wet salted hides fell 3 cents a kilo again this week like it did the week before. That's about it for this week's edition. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to register for before December 4th to watch the first interactive International HideNet Leather Forum. We look forward to seeing you there on Thursday and here next Sunday. Thanks for watching.